you can relax. That's the name of our podcast.
Hello, welcome to Relax the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Colleen Ballinger.
You're the one.
And you are?
Eric.
One of these days, you will introduce yourself.
I did.
Without being prompted.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know about that.
One of these days. I don't know someday.
About that.
Maybe there'll be an episode where
what?
I just don't say anything and just see how long it takes.
I've done an episode by myself before.
I know, it was great.
It was not.
It was so good. It was one of my favorites.
What do you mean, like we start and you just don't say anything and see what happens?
Yeah.
I think it would just be like
silent for a very long time.
For an hour.
You're okay with silence.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I appreciate it.
I hate it.
I appreciate it in my lonesome. I appreciate it in a friendship, in a relationship. I think it's a sign of like comfortability with a person. I don't feel a need to fill silences with jibber jabber.
Except for when you're going to sleep. You want sound when you go to sleep.
Oh, like a sound machine? Or are you talking about me snoring?
No, I mean, you watch a TV show. Like you always have a TV show playing.
That's just like for my brain. Yeah.
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 Well, that's why I don't like silence. It's for my brain. I hate silence.
Right.
Like we get in the car and he will have like no radio, nothing, just the sound of the car and your own breath.
I think it's important to think sometimes.
I think it is too.
And I've heard before that you're supposed to like make time for thinking during the day, on a walk, on a drive.
Yes.
So that you're not overthinking at night.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that.
That's important. I think you are actually 100% correct and much more healthy than I. There's like a quote, Mr. Rogers did a quote once, he didn't do a quote. He was just talking. So it is
he
a
just
quote.
Talked, yeah. You can just say to quote Mr. Rogers.
Well, I can't quote it because I don't remember what exactly it said, but it was
to paraphrase Mr. Rogers.
He was talking about this and he made some comment about like how he wishes the world was more comfortable with silence and how important it is to be silent and not enough people are silent and listening. And how important that is.
You're so uncomfortable with silence that when you are alone, you talk to yourself.
Yes, I do. In
fact, I heard it last night. I was doing laundry and our laundry machine is like above your office. And I could just hear, oh, no, not that. Oh.
Yeah.
And you were like, it wasn't like a conversation, but it was like, it was mutterings. You mutter to yourself.
Oh, no, I also talk to myself.
When isolated.
But I don't think that's maybe it's because I can't handle silence, but I think it's also like, my thoughts don't work if they're just in my brain. Like,
oh, go on.
My thoughts are kind of always a mess, but like.
So your narrated thoughts in your head.
Yes. I feel like I can't.
Are best read aloud.
Yes. They need to be read aloud to class. Like I do so much better with my thoughts if I say them out loud or write them down. Like they have to come out of the brain. They can't just sit in there. They need to come out of it.
Because you can't make sense of them in there. It's like
I can make sense of them. There's too much
going on that it's all overlapped.
No.
So if you get it out,
yeah, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on in there. So it's like, that, but also I think it's just like once I like talk something out, with someone or whatever, it's like, then it can be settled as opposed to like, even if I'm just saying out loud the same thing that's already in my brain, then it's like out of my brain and it's not just festering in there. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know.
Do you think that is what makes you like a natural at like video diaries?
Yes,
essentially. Yes,
100%.
Because
I'm just talking to myself all day.
Right. Because for me, I couldn't, not in a million years.
It's like whenever I have any emotion, happiness, sadness, excitement, fear, anything, I'm like, I need to talk about this. So like whether I was filming myself or not.
You're still talking to yourself, essentially.
Well, it's better.
And you're alone.
Yeah. But I feel like that's why, we don't have to get into all this, but like, that's why it was such a big part of my therapy in the last year was like, my therapists were like, hey, keep filming yourself, even though you're not posting anywhere, because like, you need to get these feelings out of your brain because you're going crazy.
Because if they all stacked up in there,
it wasn't good.
What would happen?
Well, you don't know. We don't want to know the answer to that. Explosion. Anyway, who needs to relax it other than my own brain?
Are you asking me? You're asking me to go first?
Yeah, do you want to go first?
You're asking me to initiate relaxes?
Unless you want me to.
I can. I had therapy this week.
How'd it go?
It was fine.
It was fine.
It was high and expensive, but it was fine. But one thing, I have trouble sleeping. I'm not like a great bedtime person. Yeah. And one thing that my therapist as a tool challenged me to do was to have a technology bedtime.
Yeah.
And I have found that this is very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because what this person said was essentially give yourself an hour to 2 hours before you go to sleep. Give your brain a break and to get it ready for sleep by not looking at any screens. Screens would be computer screens, telephone
TV
screens, TV screens, no emails, no texts, no apps, no whatever for like an hour to preferably 2 hours before bedtime.
How's that going?
It's not going great. The thing is, like, by the time the day is done and we get the kids to sleep, I only have that like 2 hour window, and I love to unwind with garbage television, or television. I love TV. Mm-hmm. And so the idea of having a technology bedtime, plus we'll communicate via text sometimes, like the baby monitor, I would count that as a screen. That's a screen, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a display at least.
Right.
I just think it's difficult for me to have any time where I can decompress into myself. And then if I take the screens out of that, what am I doing?
Well, then you get no
reading
time.
a book.
I know, right?
And we talked about that last episode. I could. She described as, you're doing your bedtime routine, like you're training your bed for a bedtime routine. So you take away the screens, and then it's like,
what routine?
I don't know.
Brushing your teeth? How long does that take?
I'm saying, like, brush your teeth.
A minute? Then
exactly.
what?
Like, yeah. However long you're supposed to brush your teeth for.
Like,
and then I don't know. What else would one do?
Well, see, I don't think there's just, your therapist is the person that you should listen to, and certainly not the mess of a mind that is me.
Right.
But I feel like there's different tactics for everyone. I think you should try whatever she says, but also like that it might not be the thing that works for you. There might be something else. Like, I think you're right that you don't get to have your me time the whole day. And so if you want to spend your me time watching a TV show, like if you take that away too, then what's your me time? You're reading a book, like you said, something you don't like doing.
I don't know. It's funny to me that it's come to this, because I do all the other things. I'll eat healthy. I'll exercise. Like I'll exhaust myself throughout the day. My days are exhausting. And then it'll be a very full, long day. And I didn't sleep much the night before, obviously, because as I've described, I have trouble sleeping. So then it gets to this night and I've had terrible, I should be exhausted. And yet still I can't fall asleep. And that the solution that, like, from this professional isn't like, I don't know. Like, I would just want to be hit in the head with a hammer, but
I don't think she's going to suggest that.
But instead it's like, we're going to have just the phrase, when she said technology bedtime, I cracked up and like thinking that she'd be like, yeah, I know. Isn't this hilarious? But like, it wasn't like, I mean, I feel like that's something we would say to our 5-year-old son. Is that, it's nighttime routine. We do have that. We have nighttime routine. Yeah. And he doesn't, I mean, I guess it works for him because he, generally passes out around like 8:30, 9. But yeah, no, I think I'd rather just watch TV.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's got to be other solutions here.
Right. And they're drugs. Like, no. I kind of want to be, like, when she said that, I was like, well, technology bedtime, sure. But like, what about like drugs?
You're not promoting drugs here now.
Not like hardcore drugs. I just mean like science, sleep science.
Sure. But
I should say that, like, I've gone to the sleep section of CVS or, whatever, where they have every kind of like melatonin, etc. Ashwagandha, chamomile, you name it. And it's like, it's no match for
your brain.
My brain going like, let's talk about and worry about all those things that
CBT, baby,
didn't happen or won't happen.
You just got to get in there and
CBT. Is that a drug?
To me, it is.
CBD, or did you say CBT?
CBT.
Oh, I thought you said CBD.
No,
like
not CBD.
Like oils?
No, CBD works great for a lot of people, so I've heard. But I was saying CBT.
Oh, you're talking about cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yes. If you do it right and you get a good therapist to help you out with it.
Yeah, that's
helpful.
We're doing a worksheet. I got a worksheet. I got my first like homework assignment, like real, like what I thought looked and felt like a homework assignment in like 20 years.
Did you do it?
Much like in high school. Well, there hasn't been like an instance where I'm like, oh, yeah, there totally has been. Yeah, I should fill that out. I couldn't find a pen. The dog ate it. It's in here somewhere.
Well, I love you. I guess we're a therapy podcast now.
It's just, maybe if we called it something different other than technology bedtime.
Yeah, let's not call it that.
Like screens go night-night.
That's cuter. Or maybe that doesn't work for you. And maybe it's like, there's something else you can do.
Yeah, I don't know. What I find lovely about us having this as our date night and these like conversations that at the time seem insular, sometimes you'll tell me that you saw someone write something and it's honestly helpful. So like maybe someone who also is a qualified and accredited therapist
can leave a comment
on YouTube.
Yeah, let's F the real
maybe they
therapy.
have a background in neuroscience.
You know what's really good therapy is reading comments.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And there's something helpful in that. Yeah.
It'll certainly do something to your brain. That's for sure.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, yeah, it tickled me. Technology bedtime. Yeah. Oh my.
That's funny on a lot of different levels. Well, that certainly needs to relax. That's for sure. I have so many relaxes, Lovey.
Do you?
Do you want to hear one of mine? It's not about therapy though.
Okay. I'd love to hear one of yours.
I have so many different ones. Which one am I
going to pick? I don't know.
I was going to pick one that was like it was about you, love, but I think I'm not going to do that one because I have one that might be more interesting than one that's about you.
Something
maybe
meaner?
I'll do both.
Meaner? Okay.
No, not meaner. No, well, that's you.
You had the look.
No. We'll get to it. I'm just really fascinated by this other one. I'd rather talk about this one first. Okay.
Sure.
I had never thought about my adult life until...
Your adult life?
My adult life. In my adult life until I saw a couple of videos about it on TikTok. Have you ever thought about how whales need to breathe air?
You and whales these days.
I know. I guess I'm on narwhal talk these days.
Yeah.
But like marine animals breathe air, right?
Marine animals, yes.
Like dolphins.
Mammals? Aquatic mammals?
Aquatic mammals.
Sure.
Yes. They breathe air because they're mammals, right?
Yeah, they need, yeah.
But like,
they don't have
really
gills.
Think about that. They have to come up. They live in water.
Right.
But they breathe air. Like someone messed up. Like someone didn't make that. Right. That doesn't make any sense because they have to come up for water all the time or for air all the time.
There's benefits to that for their survival as a species, right?
Well, to breathe, like they're right. But think about this: sleep.
Yeah.
How often do you think a whale and a dolphin has to come up for air?
How often?
Yeah.
I'm sure it can be anywhere from hours to days for some things.
No, love.
Is it like 20 minutes?
That's what's crazy. No.
Why?
Dolphins, I think it was like 10 minutes is the most.
You don't know.
I Googled it.
Right.
And
10 minutes?
Listen, this is what's crazy. They live in the freaking ocean. Dolphins are able to hold their breath for several minutes, but typically they breathe about 4 or 5 times every minute. Deep diving whales, such as sperm whales, may go well over an hour between breaths, but usually like humpback whales have been known to hold their breath for up to an hour. But on average, we find that humpback whales go down for a dive ranging between 4 to 7 minutes and come up again for about 6 to 8 breaths and repeat the process every 4 to 7 minutes.
Well, like we're in the air, right? But we need to be hydrated, so we have to take a drink. We have this big water jug right here. Mm-hmm. So like I wouldn't be surprised if once every hour or 4 to 6 minutes you have to take a sip.
Or 4 to 6 days.
You have to take a sip of water. I mean, they're at surface level.
Lovey.
The ones we're talking about are surface level. I mean, you're not talking about like seals or sea lions or you're talking specifically about
ones that live in
whales
the water
and dolphins. Well, yeah. So they always have, but they like to jump out and take a breath.
And get this.
Okay.
How do they sleep, love? How do they breathe in their sleep? Riddle me this.
Do they just take little naps?
Pretty much. Listen to this.
Oh gosh, she has facts.
So how do whales sleep without drowning or being attacked, right? This is what I Googled.
Yeah.
If they were unconscious, which means being fully asleep, they would not breathe and would drown. So they have solved the problem with unhemispheric sleep. That is, they shut down only one half of the brain at a time, keeping one half conscious and breathing. So basically what I'm reading is that whales and dolphins sleep like moms.
I was just going to say like me. That's especially piggybacking on what I just said. Like that seems relatable because like sometimes I'll be like, I can't sleep. And you'll be like, you were just sleeping. And I wouldn't feel like it because I think half my brain was asleep hemispherically. And then the other half was like worried about all the things I got to do the next day.
The only times I even slightly sleep well is if like when we were on our trip up to see the Lions game, which we have to talk about.
Yeah.
I slept a little bit better than I usually do because I wasn't with the kids. So I wasn't like waking up at every sound, like which kid needs me, what's happening.
There wasn't any I need this or nightmares or whatever.
I still did. Like there was like 3 or 4 times I woke up through the night going like, where am I? And then I was like, okay, I'm not with the kids. I can go back to sleep. But like when I read that, I was like, oh my gosh, whales and dolphins are always tired, just like parents.
So they don't have like a sleep.
They don't sleep like 8 hours.
Well, I mean, I feel like
maybe they do.
I feel like what it sounds like is that they've evolved that way. So yeah, I wouldn't the way that humans sleep and REM and all that, it doesn't apply to them. I
guess not. I don't know. But then I had my brain's going crazy with questions.
I've never questioned this.
But like, really,
nor would I. But you did.
It's crazy, of course, because like someone messed up. Someone somewhere, whether it be whatever you believe in, sorry, no offense, big guy upstairs or Mother Nature or evolution or whatever you believe in, you get to choose the question you're posing this to, listener. But like, come on, you messed that one up. There's an animal that's like living in the ocean, but you make it breathe air. I feel like this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, can a whale drown? Can a dolphin drown?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Because we can't suffocate. I guess if you like stop.
There's not aquatic animals that live on land, you know?
Right. But I don't know. I just feel like it's weird. I feel like it doesn't make any sense that they live in the water, but they breathe air. I feel like it doesn't make any sense.
I feel like there's so many things and they went so many ways once like a small amphibious creature decided to crawl up on land and eventually evolve into all these other different land dwelling species. Do you think that's what it was?
Do you think they decided? Do you think one day an animal was like, I think I want to go on that sand. It looks nice.
That's what I understand from science is, and it's always like a little, like, it's like a half lizard, half fish, and it crawls up and you're like, and that's what happened. And that's
good thing I wasn't there. It sounds very confusing. But
where were you?
I hadn't evolved yet, I guess, or been created or whatever you believe. But the other thing I was thinking about,
I thought you meant like when you learned about this.
But no, listen, this is the other thing that's crazy. Then I started thinking about all these other questions. Like I'm on like cruise ship TikTok. Don't ask. I've been watching all the North Sea, all that stuff. Sure. I've been watching huge big waves and cruise ships and all this stuff lately. And so then I started thinking when I was pondering these questions about whales and dolphins.
Okay. I started,
are you need to adjust? Are you uncomfortable?
No, I'm fine.
You're just like, she's talking a long time about this.
I feel like I was like, just, I think I need to move my arm.
You can do whatever you need to do. But okay. What about in a huge, crazy storm where the waves are like crazy and high and like huge swells and splashing everywhere? Like, how does a whale and a dolphin come up for air in that situation, or pouring rain?
Can you breathe when it's raining?
Yes.
Can you breathe when it's windy?
Of course. Well, yeah. But like, think about if you were in that water and you're the best swimmer in the world, like you wouldn't be able to like get air.
I'm not the best swimmer relative to a dolphin or a whale.
I don't know. I just have like, does water get in them? Then like, does it go through? And then I was like, wait, so their blowhole, is that their mouth? Like, that's the pathway to their lungs. So does their mouth must not go to their lungs at all. It only collects, we should call your dad.
What's with you?
What do you mean?
I think were you a science kid when you were younger?
Absolutely not.
Because I feel like all of a sudden at this age that you are, which we're not really sure of, you're like, I like rocks and I like biology.
No, it's that these are all the things that I think about in my brain.
Marine biology.
My brain's always asking all these thousands of questions.
I think that's good.
And I just like, sometimes they come out of my mouth. I think I've always been like that, but it's not that interested and want to know the science and biology of it and like the intricate details. It's just like I have these questions and I'm like, what? Oh yeah, I never thought, like, well, should we call your dad?
I mean, I know you really well.
People say we should call your dad. Do you think we should? Maybe we can next week. About what? Well, because now I'm like curious. So their blowhole, I guess, would be connected to their lungs because that's how they get air, right? So then their mouth is not connected to their lungs. It would only be connected to their, like when we breathe in, it goes into our lungs, right? But we can breathe through our mouth, but we also eat through our mouth. So like they only eat through their mouth, right? And then their blowhole closes shut when they're underwater. I'm not
calling my dad. I'm literally calling 911.
Okay, shut up. Okay, we're moving on.
No, hold on.
Dude.
Hey, it's actually Dudette.
Hey, Dudette.
I have a question for you.
Sure, shoot.
So this is very random, but I was just talking to Eric about whales.
Okay.
But since you seem to know the answers of everything and you had so many wonderful answers about narwhals, I've been thinking a lot more about whales. And so whales, I recently realized that, they're obviously mammals, so they breathe air. And they have to come up, a certain amount of time to come and breathe air, and they sleep. And then in their sleep, they're like coming up for air still because they're like half awake or something. But then I started thinking, so do they not... When they open their mouth, they don't breathe through do they only breathe through their blowhole?
Yes. Generally, yes. Now there's probably conditions where they do other stuff other than that, but that's a very important point you figured out, because if you get knocked out, you're going to start breathing again on your own, even if you're unconscious. But imagine what would happen if you were a cetacean, a whale or a dolphin or whatever, orca, living in the ocean and you got knocked out. You have to have conscious control of your breathing, something that you and I do not have, so that they don't breathe when they sleep underwater. It's not what they do. Actually, most whales, or at least the larger whales, sleep vertically. They're actually going up and down vertically in the water, and they can, because of the differences in their blood. They're like a baby infant. You can take a 1-week-old human infant, and if it doesn't get oxygen for 8 or 10 minutes, which would kill you and I, they're fine, because the hematocrit in their blood can hold a lot more oxygen per blood molecule.
Wait, an infant?
A human infant, yeah. They're amazing. That's why this aqua babies thing works. That you still have a diving reflex, the mammalian diving reflex, up to a couple months old, maybe 6 months. I haven't looked at it in a lot of years, but also you have the same thing if you live at altitude, like in the Peruvian mountains or in the Himalayas. Your blood values, the hematocrit in particular, will change. So you can, at 10,000 feet, you're not going to be doing so good. But there's populations that live at 10,000 feet, which have adapted. So the whale has to have the cetacean, which covers, whales, dolphins, orcas, all of those critters are air breathers, and they actually have to control whether or not they breathe, because they live underwater where they can't breathe.
Right, which is pretty stupid if you ask me.
Well, not if you. No. I like your response when I was talking about narwhals. Then you go, narwhals don't exist. I love it.
Well, I don't know. I was curious about. I've been thinking about this a lot lately for who knows what reason, but I guess the narwhal realization, blossomed this beautiful interest in whales and aquatic mammals. But I was curious, and the more I think about it, the more questions I have. And I know that your brain knows everything. So, I was correct. You did know everything about this.
No, but it's animal physiology. Actually, there's a book I'll tell you how I actually had to teach myself calculus. There's a book called Animal Physiology by a guy named Newt Phillipson, which has a dolphin on the front. And to understand the mechanics, the respiratory mechanics and biology of dolphins and cetaceans in general, I needed some math skills that I didn't have. This is actually after I got my first master's degree. So I went back and studied whale physiology, cetacean, quite a bit to understand the mathematics, not so much the physiology. That's why I knew something about it.
Well,
It's
That's
totally weird.
Amazing to me that you know more than anyone, I think, on this earth.
That's a ridiculous answer. I know. But, I never made any money at it or anything. But it was because I just didn't do the math early on.
Wait, now I have another question. So wait, you said whales and dolphins and orcas. Are orcas not a whale?
Yeah, they're all part of Cetacea. That's the genus name. Actually, that's the familial name. They're cetaceans.
Cetaceans.
They're all cetaceans. A whale is an orca.
A manatee? Is a manatee a cetacean?
No, a manatee is a different kind of mammal. The sailors used to think that they were mermaids.
Oh, wow. That's not a very pretty mermaid.
Ugly. No, they're pretty ugly. But the thing is if you've been at sea for like 3 to 5 years or 7 years, a manatee might look pretty good to you. I don't know how that.
Whoa, I'd have to be at sea a lot longer than that for it to be attractive to me. But okay, well, thank you so much for your wisdom.
Sure.
Thanks, Dad.
And one thing, when you guys say, when you say smarts, it's not a matter of, when you don't know something, it's not a matter of smarts because you're plenty smart. Colleen, it's a matter of just being educated, of knowing the facts. Two very, very different things. I know lots of people that are highly educated, but they're dumber. They're not smart. I know, and some of the best, smartest people I ever met, some of the best musicians in math I ever saw, was on a back porch or at a kitchen table. So, I hope most of my stuff is education. I wasn't very smart for the rest of my family, who they're real smart and they're also psychotic.
Anyway, all right. Well, we love you. Thank you.
Anytime you have questions, let me know.
All right.
Thank you.
Love you, Dad. Thank you. All right. Talk to you later.
Sure. Bye.
Bye. It's funny.
Wow.
It's like,
wow.
So when we say like, oh no, he knows everything about everything. Like this isn't like his expertise. He's not like a whale.
Yeah, no.
Cetacean doctor.
I have never talked to him about it before in my life.
And you just ask him a random question. And that's which it's,
he's incredible. By the way, guys, like, I could ask him anything
about any subject,
and that's how he is. Like so incredible. I love him so much.
He's been like that my whole life. And everyone I've ever it's not just you. Everyone I've ever met, every friend I've ever had has always been like, whoa.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and it's we're not kidding. Like I've never talked to him about sea creatures before, or sea animals,
that was obvious,
yeah, obviously, yeah. But like he's just so. I love
wonderful.
him. And just so sweet and wonderful. And it's so true. Like, there's a lot of people who are extremely educated.
Yeah. But that wasn't smarts or education. That was just being a very sweet.
Well, I think, there's so much truth to say, like, a smart person is just someone who wants to be educated. Like, that is smart. It's smart to be curious and like want to know answers and learn and want to learn. I think that was a very sweet way to put it, kind of how, I didn't word the same way as him, but like,
crying.
I probably am.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the first time I cried because of your dad. I think in a good way. Like your dad makes me cry because I think he's the sweetest. Both your parents, your mom too. They're incredible. Anyway, that was just fabulous. Can we end the podcast here? No.
I do have to go to the bathroom.
You do? Okay, we'll take a pause. But we do need to talk about, everyone's so excited to hear about the Lions.
Okay.
So we really need to do a recap because we saw the Lions championship game over the weekend. So we have to talk about it.
If we have to.
We really should, I think.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So we need to talk about this. I'm going to read a few comments. We got some comments here on the podcast, which we love the comments. So keep them coming. You guys are just so wonderful. I love reading the podcast comments. And I also got a few comments on my vlog because I did a whole vlog about our trip to San Jose to see the Lions 49ers game. Was it San Jose? Is that where
Santa Clara?
Santa Clara.
I think we stayed in San Jose.
Yeah. So anyway, we went up north and saw the big game right before the Super Bowl, which is coming up next.
The NFC championship game, yeah.
NFC?
Yeah. National Football Conference, yeah.
What's the NFL then?
National Football League.
What's the difference?
There's the AFC and the NFC. There's essentially two conferences, and the winner of both conferences meets in the Super Bowl, yeah.
like a boardroom meeting, like a conference.
Yeah, it's a conference of teams. Sure.
Interesting.
That's what they decided, I guess.
I wanted to read some of the comments from you guys about this stuff. Let's see. There's so many comments. It's hard to pick which ones to even read. But Sarah said, first, love you two so much. And I'm so sorry. Spoiler alert. She didn't say that. I'm saying it. But she said, I'm so sorry the Lions lost.
Oh, I think people know. Sad. I don't think it's a spoiler.
I know.
I was there.
I know. Okay. So some other comments. So excited. This is something I said in my vlog, which Eric has not watched. He can't bring himself to watch it yet. But I said in the vlog, so excited just to get heartbroken at the end. And this person quoted that and said, we feel like this a lot as Lions fans, but what can you do? And
right.
Someone else said,
yeah. Well, hello to you. Yeah. I feel like it would take, as much as I could explain it to you, it would take a Lions fan to kind of understand the feeling of that, especially a long time one, because I've been one for like 30 something years.
Yeah.
So,
and someone else said, when I woke up Sunday, the first thing I did was Google the outcome of the game. I don't even watch football, but Colleen has me invested. What a season. We were sad here in Michigan, but they had a good run. I still love my Lions. At least we got next season. Jessica said, I'm 49ers fan, and as excited as I am for my team to be going to the Super Bowl, I'm just as heartbroken for the Lions. It was a close game and it could have gone either way up until the very end. Love you. And then this person said, I'm halfway through your vlog and all I can think is, you have no idea what's about to hit you.
Hindsight, that must be pretty
I know.
Interesting. And the comment before, I would say, from my experience being there, for the most part, I would say a lot of the 49ers fans, like there was no like animosity. Even when we were winning, it was like they were happy.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. And then, especially then when they won and Lions fans started pouring out of the stadium as 49ers fans stayed to watch their team accept the NFC trophy and the confetti fall and everything like that. As I'm walking up the aisle, like, it was all 49ers fans. They're like patting me on the back saying like, good job. And even when we were leaving, a woman that worked at that stadium was like, to us, singled us out and was like, hey, you guys should be proud.
Yeah, be so proud. They got so far. Yeah,
like really good game. And what do you want to ask? Well,
there's a comment about that I wanted to read too.
Sure.
The comment said, it's from someone named Cool Pink and it was on my vlog.
Okay.
And they said, I'm so shocked how different American football is different to British football, not meaning the sport. But if you go to any football match in the UK, the home and away teams have their own exits and entrances and seating to stop fights. Police are everywhere, outside and inside the stadium. Love that it seems your sport is more civil than us here at the UK. Now, I wouldn't say, I'm not a football expert, but I wouldn't say that it is more civil overall here in America, but it was very civil there. And we were nervous going into it.
For the most, there can be, it's a sporting event. People are emotional and aggro about it in some way, certain people. And they're, these stadiums have liquor licenses and people tailgate. So, there can be drunk assholes anywhere, essentially. I've heard more so about certain fandoms and stadiums, like maybe like a Philadelphia, or if you were an opposing fan, you'd be less welcome, or Dallas. I feel like I've heard that about too. There are some, or if it's like a rivalry, if it's like a big rivalry, which the 49ers and Lions aren't, because Lions
isn't a rivalry of anybody.
Yeah, in our own conference, maybe you would say like either the Bears, Packers, or like Vikings even, but like even still, I feel like it's pretty good. But for 49ers, I feel like they'd be mad if we were Seahawks fans a little bit more so, or Rams fans, because that's in their conference. Yeah, there's no big thing. But I have heard that about British, UK, whatever football, like that is a thing, that there is violence. But that's also happened in American football. Yeah, it's not as much of a thing. But I have heard that about.
Yeah, and we were well, you were more nervous than I was, but like there was nerves going in, like, are people going to like scream at us or something? But it was actually really funny. Like when we were walking to the game, because we had to park like well over a mile away, and paid premium for the parking.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
But we parked on the walk. It was, mostly red jerseys and red clothes, and we were wearing blue. And what's funny is like the Lions fans were all so unbelievably on fire excited because we'd never gotten this far before.
Right. I love how you say we now. I've converted you.
I'm not saying like I've been a super big Lions fan this whole time. Like I don't deserve.
You've married into the misery. It's
I know,
okay.
but I feel like I don't deserve to say it yet. Like I feel like I haven't endured the misery for 30 plus years. So I can't say that. It was like when I first started getting really into Taylor Swift, I felt like I couldn't say I was a Swiftie until I truly understood everything about her and was super dedicated. Like I was always a fan of Taylor Swift. So anyway, that's what I'm comparing it to is like, I appreciate the Lions because of you, but I wouldn't say like my team or like, whatever. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was funny because we were the Lions fans were chanting and, like, let's go Lions and like all this stuff and just so rowdy and so excited. They'd never done anything like this where the 49ers.
You're just happy to be there.
The 49ers, they've been to this game many times and it was so exciting for them.
I think 3 or 4 of the past 5 years they've made it to that game. Yeah.
Right. So it was funny because I was like, oh no, people are chanting for the Lions on our walk to the stadium thinking we're going to get beat up or something. Like I didn't know what to expect. And it was funny because the 49ers fans were like laughing and cheering along with them. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. Go Lions. Like, it was almost like they pitied them.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, cute. You guys are excited. That's so cute. Is how it kind of felt.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, they were like,
and then we came out, we smacked them in the mouth, man. And then they got super nervous. And then, I'm not going to say in true Lions fashion, or there's this phrase as a Lions fan, SOL, same old Lions. It's certainly not that, because if it was same old, we wouldn't be in that game to begin with. But like, I will say that any and everything that could have gone wrong did for on all phases of the game for every player
for the Lions
and in the 49ers favor, like starting with this one pass that should have been intercepted for 50 yards that instead bounced off a man's face. And in a great play, the 49ers receiver Ayuk was able to adjust. But that when that happened, to me as a Lions fan, I was like, and to hear that stadium erupt and the momentum shift, I was like, yeah, here we go. And I wasn't like super upset. I was kind of just like stoic the rest of the way, because I just knew, I just had seen it so many times for so many years in a different way. I think if I'd have not been there, I would have been way more upset or sad, because just to watch it on TV here or whatever. So I'm very grateful for the experience of being there, even for what people are saying is the most devastating loss in Lions history. I'm glad that I was there. Did you say people were like, why is he a Lions fan?
I was going to read that. But okay. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was, for anyone who doesn't know anything about sports, because I certainly never have known anything about sports, basically, and you don't know what happened at the game, the Lions played the 49ers. The Lions have never won they've never gone this far, as far as I know, is what you told me.
They went to this game once in 1993, or 1991. It's been a very long time, but they hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years. So, I mean, and they'd never been to the Super Bowl before ever. So, right.
So it was very, very exciting. Yeah. And it was a really fun and exciting game. We kind of went into it going like, well, they're not going to, not to jinx it. We were like, I don't know how much of high hopes I had that they were going to win or anything. But they immediately were playing incredibly, and they were crushing the 49ers the first half of the game. So,
but it's the NFL, and there's 2 halves, and like that. That's what I know. There's a lot of NFL games that happen.
I know,
like
but
that.
I'm just explaining for anyone who didn't see the game or know what happened here. So
they played good, and then they didn't.
The Lions were playing very well, and at halftime it was like, oh, are they going to the Super Bowl? Like, is this happening?
We were looking at like Vegas. We're like, now we have to go to Vegas for the Super Bowl at halftime. Yeah.
Then the second half, it was real bad. And unless you're a 49ers fan, the 49ers played in like, there were so many times where like the Lions lost things and the 49ers were scoring. And I was like sad for Eric and sad for the people around us who are Lions fans. But like at the same time under my breath was like, whoa, that was incredible. The 49ers were really good.
Catch, yeah, but for the most part, I think it was like Lions kind of, I don't know how, like beating themselves in that second half, because it was you can't like give the 49ers credit. Like, you can't give the 49ers credit for drop passes or messing up on a punt that should have been down at the 1 yard line, or coaching decisions to go for it and fourth instead of kick field. You can't give the 49ers credit.
But you also can't say they didn't play well.
But like respect. Yeah. I mean, they definitely did play better, I guess, in the second half.
Well, anyway, all that to say, that's what happened.
Sure.
And in case you don't know anything about football or whatever, and I get this question a lot on my vlogs, and I've seen it on our podcast. Hi, Colleen. This is on my vlog. I just wanted to know how Eric became a Lions fan. I'm from Michigan, and typical people don't really know or care about the Lions if they're not from Michigan. Is Eric from Michigan or have any ties to Michigan? So that question we got a lot. Like, why do you like them?
No, and no. I don't know if it's like this for. I mean, I guess. I'm someone who didn't grow up in like a big sports market, right? So I was born in New Jersey, moved to Connecticut when I was in the middle of third grade.
Who are Connecticut people mostly fans
Well, exactly. Of? So in Connecticut, we have no major sports team. We had an NHL team. We had the Hartford Whalers, but
What sport is that?
That's hockey. But that franchise folded when I was in...
Hockey?
Yeah. Hockey.
There's no hockey?
No, there's nothing.
Wait, there's no hockey in America?
In Connecticut.
Oh. But you said that the whole franchise folded.
The
hockey franchise?
I don't know if that franchise moved or they just don't exist anymore. Yeah, team. Yeah.
Oh, franchise to me sounds like the whole entire game.
No, franchise is one specific sports franchise.
So hockey.
Hartford Whalers, the one team.
Just the team.
Just the franchise, yeah.
The franchise. So
the franchise
every team
is
a franchise?
No, you can franchise things and it's a franchise thing. But they call it a sports franchise when it's like one specific team. I'm saying franchises. Like I'm saying.
Franchises. I would think when you say, this franchise, I would think it meant like all of it. Like all of football or the football franchise, the hockey franchise.
One. It's singular.
So that would be one team. Someone says.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I don't understand, but I got it now. Now I understand.
Okay. Do you?
Yeah, that you had a hockey team, now you don't, but America still has hockey somewhere.
It sure does. Give her a second. She's learning sports. So I didn't grow up in a major sports market because there was no professional teams in Connecticut. We had a minor league baseball team in New Haven called the New Haven Ravens that then became New Haven Cutters.
Oh, that's not as good. Why'd they do that?
I don't know.
New Haven Raven, that's so cute.
It was cute, yeah. You know, it's funny.
Cutters?
Out here in a vintage store out here in California, I found a New Haven Ravens shirt once, and I was like, "This is crazy." Because
did you buy it?
Because that franchise has not been in existence.
Did you buy it?
I did buy it. Yeah, it's in our closet.
Wear it?
I don't wear it, no, but it's in our closet.
Huh.
It's like $5.
Interesting.
And so regionally, so you could be, and that was a big thing for me, especially in fourth grade, how you would make friends. And Bob was like, "What football team do you like?" You know what I mean? It was a big thing for me as a young boy. And when you live in a state like that, it's like a lot of people will like the regional teams around them, like the Jets or the Giants or the Patriots or even like the Bills, but still kids would like the Cowboys because they were really popular. Like, or I had a friend that was a Falcons fan. I had a friend that's a Washington fan. You know what I mean? It just kind of like was whichever your favorite. You could kind of pick a team, right? As was what I thought, because I didn't live in a major sports market. And my favorite player was Barry Sanders by far. He was just like the best player I'd ever seen. I don't know. He just made me love watching that sport. This player, Barry Sanders, who played for the Lions. And
how old are you?
I was in third grade. So this is, a long time ago.
What's that, like 9, 10 years old?
Yeah. And so I would started to get excited to watch Lions games, and I love watching Lions games. And I saw that my friends were like, could pick.
Were they good back then because of him?
They were good for like 2 seasons, kind of. At least they made the playoffs, and he was like rookie of the year. You know what I mean? And he was like very exciting to watch.
Rookie of the year means like
best new player in the league, and he was a running back. So he was just very.
And which one is that?
It's the one that the sneaky, you call him sneaky guy. The one that sneaky guy.
No, that's
hands
the
quarterback.
Ball to. Yeah. Oh, the one he hands the ball to.
Yeah, that just runs.
Great.
Hence running back.
Okay, got it.
And so. No one else was a Lions fan in my school in Connecticut, and it was my favorite player, and I loved watching their games. And I was like, the artsy kid, and wanted to be different and have my own, figuring out my own identity. And so I was like, I will be a Lions fan. And then when the way we showed it when we were in fourth grade is like you would have to get like a starter jacket. Do you know what starter is? It's a company.
No.
And they had like starter jackets for every NFL team. It was like a big coup if you got the starter jacket of your favorite team. I don't know. In any case. It was just kind of like a coming to my own identity kind of a thing. And it stuck, and it really stuck because I just loved watching them every year, even after he retired. And it stuck in this kind of like miserable, underdog loyalty way, which I don't know if it's metaphoric for like how I am as a person. I don't know anything about it, but like I was loyal to it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being an underdog always, like the mentality of that. And it just kind of, I couldn't walk away from it as many years as I wanted to like not be, because it was kind of miserable watching their games. Like there was one season, and the only season in NFL history, where a team lost every single game. The Lions did that. They went 0-16. It's probably one of the most miserable franchises in all of sports, not only just football. Mm-hmm. But it just stuck. So from Barry Sanders in that kind of formidable year of like third and fourth grade, which funny enough was when I was in third grade, was the last time that they had made the playoffs and won a playoff game. And so it just kind of stuck. And so, they've been in the playoffs like a few times, but only the first round, and immediately lost in the past 30 years. But I wanted to say, so yeah, maybe it was the worst loss in history, but this season for me, I wanted to say this for you, because maybe you don't really understand. I mean, you do. You're here.
Yeah, I understand.
But like in hindsight, yeah, it was a miserable loss, and it was sad that they lost. But I wasn't like, I felt upset for a couple of days, but I wasn't like devastated. I was like, oh, that was like kind of fun. You know what I mean? So for the first time ever, they had 14 wins in a season, which, I mean, not regular season, including the playoffs, but that's like insane. I got to watch them win 14 times.
Yeah.
And that was like super fun. They had 5 All-Pros. That's never happened to me, being their fan.
What's that mean?
They made the All-Star team essentially, but like better than the All-Star team. It's like you're essentially the best player in your position in the league. And they had five players selected to All-Pro. They had 2 playoff wins, not something that has ever happened that I've ever seen. It's never happened.
Except for 1991?
No, but they didn't have there's more teams in the playoffs now. They've expanded the playoffs in recent years. So back then there wasn't like a wild card round. So like, it's hard to explain. First playoff win in 32 years. I got to see that. 32 years. Mm-hmm. That's such a long time. First division title in 30 years. Such a long time. And I hadn't seen that. And first NFC championship appearance in 32 years. So I was like, all that. And it was so much fun. So like, I'm trying not to be depressed about it. And then there's like, this is how I'll wrap up this conversation. There's this kind of meme sound from BoJack Horseman. Do you know what that is? That adult cartoon on Netflix that I found, like, I see people using now, that I was like, oh, that's kind of exactly how I feel about this season, which is, was it worth it to be happy for a little bit, even though it ended up sad? Or would it have been better if the whole thing never happened? Mm-hmm. And totally, it was worth it for the whole thing to end sad, because I've watched for the past 32 years, I've watched it be sad and then end sad, you know? So it was really cool to, and a moment in a year in my life where it was nice to have this hopeful, fun distraction. And
it was beautiful to, as an outsider of the whole situation, to watch, like at that game, to see the Lions fans, the energy and the excitement. And it was like magical almost to see them. I mean, it was devastating at the end to watch everyone look so sad. Like,
yeah, but it's a game.
Totally. But I'm just saying that,
bummed, but I'm saying what a cool,
But that's what I'm just adding to what you're saying. Like it was so wonderful to see, like, oh, you know, the 49ers fans, they love their team and they're so excited for their team. But like, it was such I'm sure a completely different experience for them than it was for the Lions. For the Lions, this was like a magical, unbelievable thing that happened.
And they made it to the Super Bowl like 4 years ago, but they've lost that conference championship game, I think, the last 3 times they've been there. So for them, they finally got to go, and they were losing in the whole first half and then came back in the second half. So I'm sure it's very exciting. I don't feel bad for them, you know? But yeah, I think the other really cool thing about it is that you've known that I've done that during football season. You're like, oh, here we go, sports, like every Sunday.
Because you're just so mad at the games.
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm just not saying anything bad. But I feel like this year, for the first time, you've been like, what is this? And you got me tickets to go to a game when they played in LA for my birthday, and it not for me and my buddies, you know what I mean? You got it for me and you, and we went, and you appreciate it, and you're like, this is theater, and there's and everyone's wearing a costume, and this, and just
there's drama and excitement, so just
for my best friend and partner to like all of a sudden like appreciate it in a new way, It was just overall like what a cool season for me and experience, and like to get to have that fun with you. And I had so much fun on our little trip up there, even though they lost. And you know,
yeah, I think
that's awesome. You know what I mean? And now Taylor Swift likes, you know, goes to football games too. And I wonder how much of that has to do with you being like, oh, maybe this is interesting.
You know what? I think you've made that connection a couple of times, and I don't think it has honestly anything to do with that.
I think we went to the game before all that was thing.
Well, yeah, we did. But it has to do with just what I've learned. I've learned a lot in the last year with like bringing it back around to therapy. But like with therapy and like, you know, there's just because I don't like something or think something is great or think something, you know, whatever. It doesn't mean that that's true. That's just like my truth of the situation. But like just learning to appreciate things that I don't think I like or appreciate, if that makes any sense. Like finding the beauty in things that are, and my gut reaction would be like, well, that's not something I like, or that's not something that's beautiful. It was one of like the first lessons I learned, like going through like this intensive therapy stuff, was going to the beach looking for shells, and there were no shells. And it was the ugliest day at the beach I think I've ever seen. Like it was just seaweed poo nastiness, no shells anywhere. And all there was seaweed, bugs, dead animals, and rocks. And I was like, I guess I'll look at these rocks. I'm going to try to find the beauty in these rocks. And now rocks are my favorite thing in the world, because instead of being like, wow, this sucks, there's no shells and this is stupid and ugly and left, I was like, well, where's the beauty in this ugliness? And now rocks are my favorite thing in the world. And so that kind of started this new perspective of like looking at things differently for me in life in general. So instead of just like shutting things off or being like, well, that's dumb, or I don't like that, or I don't understand that, being like, well, why is that important to someone? And even if I don't share the same love or passion for it, like appreciating and understanding and respecting why someone else would like it, I think is something that's, it's something I'm trying to do when I can in life. And I know it's something that's important to you and that you love.
It's a fun distraction.
Yeah.
And life is hard. And then you become loyal and you become part of something. And it's a community, like, for me, because it's Detroit, Michigan, like from afar, but I've always felt like a part of that, you know what I mean? And community, like, because
I think that's why I loved that first game we went to, is because I was like, you know, I love Taylor Swift and I love the community and the beauty of her message and the fans and the excitement, the fandom, and just like, I just love everything about Taylor Swift and the Swifties, and I just love it all. I love it all so much. And to go to a football game, which, you know, prior to her dating Travis Kelce, some would say would be the complete opposite of being a Swiftie, is being a football fan, you know, back then at least. I went and I was like, we're all the same. Like we all are just human beings who like to be passionate and excited about something and have camaraderie and fun with others and like companionship, and just like, we're all just the same. We're all humans floating on this rock trying to like, and I don't know, there's beauty in like finding like, we can find similarities in things that I don't know.
Where else? I mean, at both those games, even though they were in away stadiums, there was, I mean, the Chargers game, it was like 50% Lions fans. And then 49ers game, I swear to God, there was like 10, 20,000 Lions. I thought there'd be like a few sprinkled out. There was so many. We kind of happened to sit in a group of like next to on one side and then in front of us. And that, especially the whole first half, like I had never high-fived or hugged complete strangers.
Yeah, we were besties.
Over and over, like for every good play that, I mean, than I had in my entire lifetime, which is like, where, I don't know, not that that's what I don't go to hug strangers, but like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
we all just, it was like natural. It was like, we're all on the same team. Like,
yeah, it's just so like this communal, like, yeah, we're all on this rock spinning in outer space, but like, I don't know. It's great.
Just, I think
it's not, it's not like, I like to watch people hit each other or this. I don't know I don't know. It's deeper than.
Of course it is. Yeah. And anyway, I loved it and I love it. And I'm excited for next season that I get to like understand it and watch it with you and like be excited with you.
I've had flashes of us in like old age.
Like watching Lions.
Like watching Lions games as like old people and
so
like on Sundays and like, and you watching like you fully understand.
I don't know if that will
what's
ever happen,
happening and who's who, and you being like, oh, we need to draft a cornerback next year. Like I feel like that's going to happen in our
God, imagine
70s. And I'm here for it.
Cool. I have a whole list of things I wanted to talk about with the Lions game and just football in general, but like I feel like this episode's getting long, and so maybe another episode we can talk about it more.
Why not?
Because I had a whole list and I had other I had so many things I wanted to talk about today.
Save it for next week. Yeah.
But man, there's just so much to say. So I'm going to end like we always do on a few comments. So keep them coming. I thought this was interesting. We won't go into detail about it, but this was the top comment on our recent episode of Relax. It says, can you guys please discuss Colleen's sense of time when she's talking about past tense? Because when Colleen says, it's been such a long time, or it's been forever, or it's been many, many months, I feel like what she's referring to only happened like a few weeks ago or a couple months ago. I love you both. Absolutely no hate here. I just want Erik's opinion on knowing if Colleen realizes this.
No, she's no sense of time.
I have
not even in like
no sense of time.
From minutes to seconds to hours to months. Yeah. It's all time to Colleen Ballinger. Time is a flat circle.
Time is now. Time is right now. And it very much aligns with like,
not to say you live in the moment, but yes, time is now.
I do live in the moment. 100% I live in the moment.
Yeah, but in the moment you'll say, I'll be right out. And that's certainly not what you mean.
Yeah, because that's the future.
Okay.
So I'm living what I'm doing right now. So that's very much in line with an ADHD brain. Like I don't think about the past or future.
Oh, so would it be in the future when you're like, okay, we should leave by 12?
Oh, that's very far away.
Okay, and I am ready to go in the car by 12 and you are...
Well, because I'll be ready in 5 minutes. Everything in my mind takes 5 minutes.
But you don't mean 5 minutes.
No, I do mean it, but I'm always wrong. I always... truly
just believe
I can do that in 5 minutes. 5 minutes sounds like so much time. That's a lot of time. 5-10 minutes. Oh my God. I can do so many things in 5-10 minutes. So my brain tricks me every time. And I know this logically. Hey, it's going to take you longer than 5 minutes. And somehow I still go like, well, this one I can do in 5 minutes. I can finish this in 5 minutes. And I never can. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm very bad at time. And to me, something that happened a few weeks ago or a month ago, that is a very, very long time ago to me. And something that's happening in a month, why would you even discuss it now? Like that is, in my mind, that is very far away.
Something that's happening in a month?
Oh my God, that's...
To me, I feel soon and I should worry about it starting now.
Oh my God, no.
I should lose sleep over it tonight. That's happening in a month? That's so
I would be
soon.
like annoyed that someone would bring something up to me that's happening in a month. I'd be like, what? Why are we talking about that? That's in a month. Like that's crazy to me, which it's been, I'm learning a lot as a parent, obviously in the last 5 years, because you can't do that as a parent. And I feel like I'm better about it with my kids, obviously, than I am with myself. Like anything that has to do with me, I'm bad at that kind of stuff. But like with kids, you got to plan school years in advance and like classes and just activities and everything, doctor's appointments, everything.
That part of time, I don't understand how we have to do that like years in advance.
It's crazy. Yeah. But so I do that, but just everything else I don't. So I thought that was an interesting comment. That was the top comment, apparently.
Interesting.
Steph said, I love that Erik was educated on the fact that it's Tupperware and not Tubberware, but he's not letting it go. And I got a lot of likes. You do still say Tubberware.
Yeah, I'm going to be stubborn about that. I just like it better.
You like Tupperware better?
Yeah, I'm not concerned that Mr. Tupper invented it. Like I'm more that it's a tub. So I call it Tupperware.
And another comment is from Lavender Sun, which I love that name. I think Erik is thinking of a fruit cocktail, not a fruit salad. I'm not trying to bring up the whole fruit salad thing again. We don't ever
this
have
is a perfect way to end.
Okay.
Because my loving mother, also big fan of this podcast.
Big fan. I thought you meant of her. I was like, yeah, me too.
Oh, and I am a big fan of her. But she interjected, thinking she was being helpful and protective of my feelings and beliefs. She sent this to both of us.
Did you say believes?
Beliefs.
Oh, okay.
She sent this to both of us. She was like, I think this is what, oh no.
Oh, did that one die?
That one died.
Oh no.
She sent me this. Is it gonna, how do I do that?
Hold on. You just hold it there.
There you go. She sent me that. She texted that to both me and Colleen to say, see, there's no melons in these fruit salads. Like, but I hate to tell my mom that that's a fruit cocktail. And maybe not what you would think of when you think of fruit salad.
It's fine.
But there are no melons in them.
No.
But yeah, no, I wasn't thinking of a fruit cocktail, but Yes.
Yeah.
That's funny that you said that because my mom had my back.
By the way, if you're watching this week's episode, our 2 close-up cameras just decided to go to sleep. I don't know when that happened. Yeah, both of them. I don't know when that happened, so I apologize. So yeah, sorry if those cameras went out a long time ago. I have no idea. But anyway, thank you for watching or listening, whatever you do with this week's, I think, very long episode, perhaps. I don't know. I feel like we talked for a really long time. But hopefully y'all enjoyed our long talk about sports and whales.
I learned a lot.
Keep those wonderful, beautiful comments coming. And maybe you'll get featured in next week's episode. And we'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Bye.
You can relax. That's the name of our podcast.